One of the last videos, I was looking at Claude Code and how we use it to effectively streamline a lot of our builds, have Claude Code do a lot of the heavy lifting. And I said I prefer to use it in interactive mode. So I got a question around, well, what about scripting it? We do that too. So beyond interactive mode, while interactive is good for complex tasks, once you've got a really well-defined task, especially when it's logged in a GitHub issue or whatever your story tracking is, you don't necessarily need to be there to see it. You just need to see the PR at the end, and Claude Code will generally handle the rest. So this is really where scripting it comes in, right? And the key is that well-defined small tasks. They do need to be that. So button styling, a bug with really good replicable steps, small feature changes, right? Ones that aren't too complex. These are great. Claude Code will just chew through them. And this is the type of thing that you can get other platforms where you raise a ticket and it automatically goes and builds it. You can do this in GitHub. I just prefer, I've already got the Claude Code subscription, so I tend to do it locally, and that lets me pick and choose what it is the Claude Code is working on. So what do we have to do? First of all, define your commands. You've probably already got them. So we used interactive mode before. We've got the commands, we know how to build, we know how to review, and those commands know how to do a lot of other things, like using the GitHub CLI to create a branch, raise pull requests, do all that kind of stuff. And the pre-work we've done is use Claude Code to raise those requests, to put in all the detail that it can find and all the detail that we give it. So we've got some really well-defined tasks. And then you create a script, this one here being a batch script, but you can obviously create it for whatever system you're on. To simply go through and process them. And it's really, really easy. Use the Claude command, as you do from the command line to start interactive mode, and then you pass it a string with the command that you want to run, and some arguments. In this case, issue numbers that relate to GitHub issues. And first of all, I have it run the build command. That'll do the code checkout, create the branch, create the folder, all the stuff that it needs to do to basically complete that issue. Then I'll have it review. And in that review, I actually do a couple of different things, which I'll talk about in a sec. But the main thing is to make sure that if there's any issues that are medium and high priority, they're fixed immediately on that branch. But the extra thing I get it to do is also automate some issue creation. So after that, we get some automatic issues created for the next piece of work that we need to go on to. This means you can have smaller bugs logged. Often, something that's a P3 or a P4, something's not too critical. You might not want to spend any time on it, but just before you log off for the day, you can create one of these scripts and have Claude Code run for the next hour and fix 20 low-level issues that that your dev team's never really going to get time or priority to work on. Things that often help even for the technical team, but aren't necessarily a customer-facing change. So this is a really, really powerful technique. I'd advise you to look into it. And yeah, the end is a much happier dev team that gets to focus on the features, gets to focus on the big piece of work, use their human side and their mind to really get that customer experience and that empathy and the complexity of business rules and some technical components where Claude Code struggles, and leave automation to do the rest. That's it. Quick one today.